Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go. Hello.
Hello.
If you have not heard our announcement episode from this past Tuesday, stop what you're doing. Don't listen to this first. Go back and listen to that announcement episode.
Because we're not going to
many things.
We're not going to tell you all the things again here. That would take the whole episode. We already just did it a few days ago.
Snakes under cars. Jobs quitted.
Books started.
Books written. Not quite finished.
Started.
Projects underway.
Coaching.
Big changes are coming in coaching. You got to know. You need to be in the know. Go listen to that episode. This will wait. All right.
But you do need to know, you do need a quick reminder that our coaching enrollment starts up again next Friday.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe, the 14th.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, you need to listen to the episode so that you understand why all of a sudden there's only one option. It's just 6 months. We're not doing 2 months of coaching anymore. Say what? Are you freaked out? Go listen to the episode on Tuesday. I done told you.
There's actually more coming beyond that even, but that's all you need to know at this moment.
Listen, we're on a train. We're up leveling. Get on, or, just I'll wave at you as, you get thrown from the train and, land in a nice field of wildflowers and live your life.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're making a lot of changes this year.
Many a change is happening.
This is the first of many, or one of the first of many.
So I done told you, don't tell me, don't come at me saying I didn't warn you. I did. And you just didn't go listen to that episode from Tuesday.
And then we just warned you again, and we're going to do it again a few more times. We're going to remind you of some of these changes. So you can't act too shocked.
Nope.
But for now, we have a new episode of Dear Krachel.
Yes.
We've got 3 questions as per the usual.
Why don't you just read the first one?
And we're just going to go into the first one.
Okay.
Dear Krachel, wow, your last side chat about wants versus needs really got me thinking. I'm curious how this conversation would go around money. I've always felt like at a certain amount, it becomes a want versus a need. It's interesting to start to think of larger amounts of money as a need. I've known it's a sticking point for me, but thinking about it from this perspective is bringing up a lot. What do you think? And that is from Samantha.
So when we're coaching our clients, one of the exercises we have them do when we get to a certain point in coaching is we have them think about what their non-negotiables are. So these are things like, how much money do you want to make in your next career move, your next job? It can be tangibles like benefits, PTO, that kind of crap. It can also be, I have to work in a small company. I don't want to work for a large corporation anymore. It has to be 100% remote. Like, that is non-negotiable. The fine print that I always belabor people with is non-negotiable does not mean the least I can accept in order to survive. It is the least I can accept in order to thrive, in order to be genuinely satisfied and content, not, well, I could technically live off of this, but I would be resentful if I only made X amount of money.
And I'd probably burn out, and I'd have to really pinch my pennies in certain areas. Right. That's not sustainable. We're talking about like the minimum, quote unquote, that is sustainable for your mental, emotional, financial, physical well-being and health.
Yes. So I like this question about how do we talk about what's a want versus what's a need when it comes to money, because it is a little bit more tangible. Like, you can actually measure, well, technically my budget says my needs are this, like I have to be able to pay my rent and pay my bills and my student loan and my groceries and all of that. you are allowed, thriving is a need. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thriving just period is a need.
Because thriving equals health.
Health is
wellness.
a need.
Yes. That is something you shouldn't skimp on.
So I think when it comes to money, figure out the number that equals thriving. And then you might have to figure out, well, what does thriving mean to me? Does thriving mean having a certain amount in my savings account? Does thriving mean paying off a certain amount of debt? Does thriving mean being able to go on fancy vacations multiple times a year?
Or getting massages a couple of times a month.
Right.
Like things that really make a difference in my physical, mental, emotional. Maybe I want to see a therapist and I want to be able to pay for that without a lot of strain. There's some certain things that make you feel fully healthy and well and like you are thriving in life.
Yes.
That's the budget that we're talking about.
That's
and you
need.
Yours is going to be different than anyone else's. So it doesn't really matter what someone else's definition of how much money they need for that definition.
Oh my God, someone could have 10 times the amount or half the amount of that you need, quote unquote, in order to feel like they're thriving. It is not relevant. No one else's number is relevant to yours. And there is an interesting statistic that we have quoted before. I wish I remember.
We should have looked up where it was from ahead of time.
But like I've heard it quoted many times. It was a study done in America. It's an average salary Americans need in order to thrive, basically. And that beyond this point, it's like, so it's $75,000. I'm going to give you some caveats. Okay. If you haven't gotten to this point, it makes a very big difference in your overall physical, mental, emotional health. If you have not gotten to that point, if you've gotten to that point, the interesting thing is that every bit of money you make after that makes a very nominal difference in your overall physical, mental, emotional happiness, because all of your core needs are really met. And not just core needs, but maybe vacation and stuff like that too.
Yeah. We should say that's for average. And that's for one person. That's not a single parent with a kid. That's not a family household.
Yeah, no.
That's not even two. That's not even a couple. That's like one person.
One person, an average.
In American dollars.
Right. So that could be an average of Oklahoma and San Francisco.
Sure.
And some random place in Oregon and New York and Alabama. You know what I mean? So like, obviously standard of living is still hugely different across America, but that's kind of the number. It's around 75,000.
And don't feel like that has to be your number, but it's an interesting thing to put into perspective to say, if there's a part of you that feels like it's a need to have way more than that, the interesting thing is you might not find yourself at so much happier at 300,000 than you did at 80,000.
Yeah.
Even though it seems intellectually like that should make a really big difference, the statistics have proven it really doesn't make a huge difference once you have some
of the core things met.
Exactly. Where you still feel like, okay, everything else is settled.
Gravy.
I feel like I'm thriving. Everything else just is, well, that's nice.
It's a nice to have. It's a nice to have.
So we're not telling you that's your number, but we're just saying, take that into consideration, but figure out where yours is and recognize that might be your need versus want threshold.
Yeah.
And it might be a little bit of a range. That's okay. But I think it's a really good question, because does anyone need $1 trillion? I don't know. Probably not.
No. Does anyone need $1 billion? No, Jeff.
Probably not.
No, Elon. No.
That's not necessarily a need. So you're right. There is a point at which it shifts. It's on a scale.
Freaking Elon Musk would definitely say he needs $1 billion.
I mean, I guess if you're sending satellites into space, you need a little bit more than the average household.
To send people to Mars, can he also just solve climate change while doing that?
I mean, truly.
Like, save this planet before we go to the other ones, dude. Okay? All right. Truly. I'm not going to get off on my Elon Musk tangent, but I just don't like it. Okay. I hope that helps, Samantha. And I hope that gives you and anyone listening food for thought around needs and money. Okay. Next one. A long one, but one I think all of you are going to relate to. So, which is why I read it. Dear Krachel, do you ever find yourself overwhelmed by all the things you want to do? I've returned to full-time 9-to-5 work after doing a combo of working part-time and studying. And as I'm adjusting to working this way again, I find myself overwhelmed with choosing what to do for fun. I find I can get decision paralysis with things like reading, TV shows, personal development courses. Like, I'll look at the big stack of unread books I own and be overwhelmed by which one to read next. Hear about a new author and add all her books to my to-read list. have hours worth of my favorite podcasts and YouTubers to watch/listen to, then don't even get me started on all the great new shows on Netflix I've never even seen. And when everyone's telling you have to watch this show or try this podcast, you'll love it, it's so good. Well, I'm sure it is, but it kind of just contributes to the overwhelm. Being a big personal development person, I feel like I'm constantly finding intriguing people who I want to learn from, do their courses. And of course, I logically know there's only so many hours in a day, but I feel frustrated when I haven't done that personal growth work or read that book yet, or finally seen that TV show everyone's talking about. Is this a thing people experience now we're living in the golden age of content and incredible technological advancement? I'm a thriver, so I don't think it's a side hustler thing, but I look at all the things I genuinely want to experience, feel that doesn't add up with the hours I have, and struggle to choose what to fill my free time with in the first place. That is from So Many Books, So Little Time.
I mean, I love that send off because I feel the same. I know a lot of people are like, yes, this is me. I have a billion things in my Amazon cart and my podcast list and all of that. You're right. There is a lot out there.
You will never, ever be able to watch all the shows, all the books, all the podcasts, all the stuff. Never.
And they are probably many of them really, really good. And we have to do a little bit more like quality over quantity here.
For many reasons.
And again, we're going to go back to your definition of quality. Just like in the last question, your definition of thriving is going to be different. So the things that are going to be the most enriching and fulfilling and fun and enjoyable for you may or may not be what everyone's watching right now, or what you don't have to get every single book from that podcast host that you listen to that you loved. You can spend 3 minutes sorting through them and be like, okay, that's one that I want to start with. So it's okay to let some things go. You're going to have some FOMO about that. That's okay. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but we're looking for like top tier quality. If you have limited time to give to the things that interest you in your life, you get to be really choosy about that. And that's kind of fun. I'm kind of imagining you. I believe you know this person, right? And this is a woman. I don't want to say it's a woman. Okay.
Yes, I do know her.
I'm imagining you as like a queen sitting up on your throne, and all of these people are bringing you all these wonderful things.
Offerings.
You're like, yes, no. Hold that one for me. I'll come back to that one later. Like what a beautiful problem. And if you think of yourself as this queen who's just like, what do I feel like today? Then just do that today. And if you feel like something different tomorrow, great. That other thing, that book you started yesterday,
that show or that book
will be there waiting for you. You can just pick it back up where you left off.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to just follow your intuition and your interest and your curiosity of the day. Even it doesn't have to be this. This is all fun stuff. This is all things that you personally want to do. Nobody's waiting for you to finish that book. There's no deadlines on any of this. So if you want to act a little like a hummingbird, kind of like flit from thing to thing, because that's what you feel like doing today, do it.
There's an undercurrent of anxiety here.
Totally.
About like, I don't have enough time to do all of this.
I'm missing out. I'm running out of time. Yeah.
And so what I want to say is, no, you have plenty of time, because even if we're just talking about fun stuff, podcasts, books, TV shows, the right things find you at the right time. It's not just relationships. It's not just jobs. It's not just things that quote unquote matter. The universe doesn't give a shit. The universe doesn't care what you think matters versus what doesn't matter. The universe is interested in your joy and your alignment. And so if there's a perfect podcast, it will find you at the right time. Exactly when you needed it most to delight you. Exactly when it was going to just feel the best for you to watch that show. You can trust that the right things will align at the right time, and you don't have to mentally fatigue yourself by deciding, what do I watch? What do I do? Wait for a full body yes. Wait until it feels like a 9 or 10 out of 10. Like, I must watch that. I must listen to that. That sounds so good. I have to read that. Anything else, let it go and trust that it will come back to you and you will pick it back up at the right time. This reminds me, God, this haunts me. In 2012, I downloaded Outlander on my iPad and I started reading and I got bored. Like 30 pages in, I was like, what is, I don't know, man. And I just stopped.
She hadn't time traveled yet. You're like,
I went back and pages. I stopped. I picked it back up 2 years later because I saw it was being made into a show. And I was like, And I looked at the poster for the show and I was like, no, I do not remember that man. And I was like, I think I need to go pick that book up. And I bought it like and part of it was like, I hate reading on e-readers. Like I had to get the real book, read past the portion that had bored me and went, holy shit, I can't believe I did that. Right.
But it came back in the perfect time.
At the right time. And you want to know what? I'm glad, because had I read it 2 years earlier, all I would have done is torture myself for 2 years longer, knowing that Jamie Fraser existed and that I could not have him.
And there was no show even to like really indulge.
To scratch my itch. So it came back at the right time. You know, like shows and TV, movies, they will find you at the right time too. There's
just one more piece of this that I'm like, sometimes I feel like you can get so into absorbing content.
Yeah.
That I'm like, can we take some periodic breaks here from like reading all the things and watching all the things and taking all the courses and listening to all the podcasts?
Integrate it.
Because if information just keeps coming at you, even if it's all great, at some point it just starts to go like in one ear, not the other ear.
You're not learning anything. It's not actually,
and you're not actually letting your own ideas pop up.
That's true.
So part of this might be you have to be more discerning because you're going to need some actual downtime and removal from all of the content stimulation if you're going to do any of it or really enjoy and get the most out of it. So can we build in some like processing time, some integration time, some personal creative time as well?
Yeah.
And those might be some of the moments where the right next thing pops into your mind. If instead of listening, taking in all the things, you just give yourself a little bit of a breather, you might get the inspiration. I want to go down this rabbit hole, and bam, it takes you to the right. You don't have to figure it out. It just takes you there.
Quality over quantity here.
Always.
Really quality. Always. It again, because you need that in order to get the most juice out of the things that you want to enjoy. I don't think enjoyment is a quantity thing. I really don't. I think enjoyment is solely qualitative. And so in order to do that, you really got to be choosy about what you let in and trust that the good things will come back when they're supposed to. And and also delight in the fact that there's always going to be a good show you haven't seen, because that means there's possibilities.
I know, you're never going to run out. And like, how great is that?
To never run out. That's abundance.
Truly. Yeah.
Okay.
Question 3. Dear Krachel, I read Outrageous Openness and E Squared, and I listened to your book club episodes on both. And this is the first time I've really been exposed to the law of attraction. It blows my mind. I asked the universe to get me a specific cup of coffee, but it didn't materialize. However, I was able to get a parking spot near a restaurant when I asked for it. And I asked the universe for a base salary range for my new position, and I got an offer in that range. It is much, much higher than what I'm currently making. The law of attraction is crazy to me. And I know if I keep thinking, I'm never going to meet someone, that could very well happen. But how do you stop thinking that? That's where I struggle, especially on darker days. Do you have any tips for not attracting things that I don't want?
Yeah,
this is from Amelia.
Sure do. First of all, I will link to all the episodes we've done around like the book club episodes we've done. So she mentioned Outrageous Openness. I will link to that. That was from November of 2018. It's a long time ago. We did one in, I think, February 2019, also by Tosha.
It's Not Your Money.
Yeah, specifically around money. And then E Squared was, I think, January 2020. We did E Squared. But I will link to all of those so that if I got my dates wrong, you can go and double check. I'm pretty sure I didn't get my dates wrong because you know me. Okay, I'm so glad you're having fun with this, Amelia. It should be fun.
It is fun.
It is really fun. Also, it will blow your mind at the beginning. And then honestly, it will just become like normal. And not in a bad way, just in a, this is just like how the universe works. I've seen it happen a million times now. Still fun.
It's just not as like mind blowing.
I mean, it takes more to make you go, what are you kidding me?
But that's okay, because sometimes the universe ups its ante and it's like, okay.
Likes upping its ante.
Yeah.
So you're right. You probably should stop saying, this is never going to happen. Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, it's like, like I'm always going to be single. I'm never going to find someone.
Okay. Yep.
But okay, keep in mind, if the law of attraction, all you can really do is it's attraction. It's not the law of repulsion. So when
It's true.
when you recognize something that you really don't want to happen, there's a desire hiding underneath of it. So really the desire is, I want love. I want partnership. I want companionship. I want people. I want belonging. So you could be on one side of the spectrum and be like, I don't want to miss out on this. And what if this never happens? Or you could recognize, oh, my fear is just telling me I have a desire. So in the same instant, I can go, oh, I just really want partnership. Okay, that's clear. There's always another side of it.
What I thought you were going to say, which is what you didn't say it, but I'm going to take it deeper than what you just said, was I thought you were trying to say inherent in every worry you have is also what you really want. And the universe knows that too.
Oh, yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It knows it. But if you know it, then the fear doesn't have to be the predominant emotion in your body. Because the universe always knows what you actually want. It knows the difference between your desires and your fears. And it wants to give you what you want.
It's just you block it from happening sometimes.
Right.
Because you're too fixated on, attracting.
So your whole job,
what you don't want.
Your job is not to tell the universe, no. Wait, I don't really want that. It's like, I know.
It knows.
I know what you want.
You don't have to do that.
Your job is just to focus on, oh, here's what I actually do want. And that's usually a pretty easy thing, because if you look at what you're afraid of, you look at what you're anxious about, it's because underneath of it, you really want something. And the fact that it's so scary means the desire is actually really strong.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign for you.
I'm also going to link to our book club episode about The Alchemist, because I'm about to quote The Alchemist right now. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to find it.
Yes.
And so, stop talking about what you don't want. Like, stop talking about the fact that I don't want to be single. Okay, what do you want?
But here's what sometimes can happen when people are new to the law of attraction. They'll have a thought, oh no, I don't want to be single anymore. And then they're like, oh no, I had this thought. Oh my God, it's going to happen. And then they fixate on that thought and they just give more and more more energy to the thought of like,
to be perfect.
No. So if you're just like, oh yeah, I had that thought. Okay, of course I did. I'm a human. I'm going to be nervous and worried about things sometimes. What does that mean? All it means is I really want something. Cool.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is start fretting then about the thought. You're like fretting about what you don't want to happen. And now you're fretting about having the thought about having. And now you're fretting about the law of attraction not working for you.
Yeah.
That just gives it so much more fuel. You're allowed to have thoughts that are not always in perfect alignment with what you want. That's going to happen.
It's not possible.
You're not going to have like
any other way.
Perfectly clean brain of only positive thoughts all the time. Don't expect it of yourself. That's just cruel.
Okay, so some other things you could be saying instead of what you are saying that's not helpful is what's meant for me can't miss me. The universe is conspiring to give me exactly what I want because it wants me to get what I want.
I love the phrase, this is easy for the universe. Even if it seems really, really hard to me.
So easy.
So easy.
So easy for the universe. Really is.
I don't have to figure it out. Not my job to figure it out.
Now, Amelia, does just changing your mantras like snap and all of a sudden you get everything you want? No, because hello, that's not how. I would have a lot more things if that's how that worked. So sometimes we do have to do deeper work around the underlying fears and beliefs that are causing us to really stay stuck in that energy of this isn't going to work for me or this is never going to happen for me. That stuff can be really deeply stuck and rooted in there. And just changing your verbiage around it sometimes doesn't change the energy around it. Because if your energy, for example, is one of desperation and you just start saying but what's meant for me can't miss me. But all of the time you still feel anxious and desperate. The universe is like
still, it can't miss me, but you're still like looking around every corner, like, but where is it? But where is it?
Right.
Where is it?
Yeah. Like your words are not necessarily going to be enough to override your underlying energy. So that's also something that, that's what coaching is for. Obviously, that's what we dig in and do on a deeper level, because in order for you to attract something you really want, you've got to be a match to it.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, all right, so then instead of fixating on what if this doesn't happen, or this is never going to happen for me. Okay, what do I need to do to become a match to the kind of person or partnership that I really want to have? where am I in relation to this thing that I think I want? What might I need to prepare for or work on within myself so that I can be the best match? Not in like in like a resume way, but I mean in like a alignment kind of way, in a compatibility kind of way to the healthiest thing that I want. I'm guessing there's probably going to be a gap between where you want to be and where you might be right now. That's a better way to spend your energy and your time than, what if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't happen? Well, I don't know. Work on becoming the version of you that's most likely to get what she wants.
Yeah. The best way of thinking about the law of attraction is more in a co-creative sense than like the universe is just delivering all these things to me, which then makes you feel very out of control and like, well, why is it taking so long? And what is that? So to say, here's my contribution, but I recognize, honestly, my contribution's like a teeny tiny fraction because the universe has got the vast majority of this. So I'm going to take like one step for 100 of the universe's steps. It's still co-creative, and it makes you feel like you are participating in that, and you are moving yourself more into a receptive place for the things that you want to attract. But you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. You can still look out for it. And to be honest, this might be a really good time to ask the universe for little signs. Like, I'm afraid of this, but I want to believe. Can you show me a sign that I can at least have hope?
That I can trust.
Exactly. So ask for little things, even if the partner hasn't showed up yet, you could still ask for signs that you're moving in the right direction.
I've said it once, I've said it again. People are so hard to manifest because you cannot manifest them limb by limb.
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
Also, they have free will too. And like they're got their own energy connection going on.
Can you imagine though, if like one day you just like start manifesting, like here's a toenail.
And you're like,
and here's
I guess
patella. And here's an ear and here's an eyebrow. And like, you just keep them in this weird box in your closet and people think you killed someone, but really you're just manifesting a person.
But like, who's the person who's walking around without the toenail and without like the ear?
Exactly.
So it wouldn't work super well.
You can manifest money like that.
Yeah. Little bits of money.
You can't really manifest people like that. So it's harder because it has to be fully formed before it shows up in your experience. Mm-hmm. So it can take longer, and that's okay.
And you just don't see the incremental progress in the same way that you do with other things.
You can see it in terms of like if you're maybe on a dating app or something, you can see it in terms of, oh, the people that I'm actually connecting with are of a higher and higher and higher caliber every time I see progress. Like I see myself attracting a better and better and better, closer and closer and closer to the kind of person I want to be with. I've seen that happen countless times for people and myself. It's like the universe's best way of showing you stair steps. Yeah. You're getting close. Look for that. Look for your incremental progress. And it doesn't have to be around this. It can be around other things. If you just want validation that incremental progress happens, look for evidence that you get closer and closer and closer and closer to the right thing until it actually materializes. You can't mess this up. Okay. Again, you can't miss what's meant for you. Chill out a little bit around it. I say that as much as a call out for me as for
some
you.
Random negative thoughts here and there is not going to screw up your attraction powers.
You don't have that much power.
Yeah, no. Yeah. The universe is like, that's cute. I got you.
Like, I've seen too many people get fantastic things while being in a shit mood for me to believe that your disbelief one day is going to totally throw you off track. That's just not how it works. So, to sum up, focus on your incremental progress. Ask if you're having fun playing around with the law of attraction, ask for signs that you are making incremental progress or that you can trust or that this is going to happen. Have a few little mantras in your head that might help ease some of the fear in the moments, and recognize if you're having that much fear and anxiety, it's all that means is you have a strong desire, and the universe knows your strong desire. And then focus more on the aspects of your desire than the aspects of your fear. Focus more on what is it that, write down, here's what I'm excited about in a person. Here's the kind of person I want to be in a partnership. Then what do I need to work on in order to become more of that person? Because I want to be, not because I want to get what I want, not because I'm trying to con the universe into giving me what I want. It's not going to be fooled, but because I want to be that person. Okay, Amelia, I hope that gives you enough to chew on. Plus, I'm going to link to some episodes for you.
Lots of book club
episodes about this. Not even to mention all the episodes we've kind of talked about this here and there, but those will be enough to get her started.
Yep.
Well, not her. She's already read half of these books, but anyone else who also feels like they want to get in Amelia's boat and explore this and have fun with it. Okay. Coaching enrollment happening next Friday.
Got one more week. This is your final week lead up reminder. So as of next Friday, you're going to hear us announce we're opening the doors. If you want to get in this time, I would recommend signing up earlier in the process because we do have only limited spots, and
maybe 15, maybe
because of some of the announcements that we shared earlier in the week, I think we could have a few more people than usual wanting to jump on board. So just know that.
I think we could.
And it is a little bit first come, first serve.
It's very first come, first serve.
Just know that. And we'll be back next Friday with a normal person interview.
You are correct.
Well, yep, that is right. And this is actually the normal person interviews are really great. The last question we just answered about the law of attraction, this has a lot of overlap with this episode. We're going to be talking about feminine energy.
AKA magnetizing things to you as opposed to going out and hunting them down.
Exactly. And I'm interviewing one of my clients who has been doing a feminine energy experiment turned lifestyle, indefinite experiment now, but it started out as a limited experiment. And she talks about what that looked like and some of the things that have happened as a result and how different her life is now. So you're going to want to hear this because I think we're going to inspire some people to do their own feminine energy experiments.
I'm very down. Down with the patriarchy and up with the feminine energy experiments. Okay.
See you next week.
Okay, bye.